About a year ago, I was shopping around for a new keyboard. This is obviously before all these companies started sending me out keyboards for review. I wanted something a little bit higher end, an upgrade from the budget Amazon keyboard I had at the time, and after much shopping around and deliberation, I landed on the Akko 3068 with Cherry MX Red switches. Back then, I thought Cherry MX Red was the best of the best and the smoothest feeling if you wanted a smooth linear switch. Boy, was I naive back then. But I was and still am glad that I purchased the Akko 3068. It does have its problems, but it is a nice board. I've mentioned it and shown it off a little bit in a few videos, but I haven't covered it yet. And I'm still not covering that one. What I am covering, however, is this bad boy. This is the 9009 Retro Edition of the Akko 3068. This one with Cherry MX Brown switches. This one was sent to me courtesy of Epomaker. Thank you guys again for providing a keyboard for review. And as always, this is an unbiased, straightforward review where I will tell you my honest opinion. The Akko 3068 is a 65% keyboard with 68 keys, hence the 68 in 3068. 65% boards are my favorite layout as far as what I've used over the past year or so. It keeps most of the compactness of a 60% keyboard with just a few extra keys in there so that you still get that small size and extra space on your desk without really adding any bulk, and most of the time adding dedicated arrow keys. In the case of the Akko 3068, you get all the keys that you'd get on a regular 60% board, as well as a dedicated tilde key, delete, page up, page down, and of course arrow keys. You gotta love those arrow keys. Inside the box you'll get a dust cover, the keyboard itself looking all nice and pretty inside that box, an instruction manual, this card, don't know what it's for, this pink cat paw keycap puller, which has now, ever since I've had this, become my primary keycap puller that I always reach for. It's just precious, and I will treasure it forever. And it's also branded. It has the Akko logo right there on the puller itself. And last but not least, the cable. Now this cable, I could go on a rant about this cable. It was one thing for them to give you a retro themed keyboard with the keycaps and the color scheme, which I'll get to in a moment, but the fact that they give you a USB-C cable that matches the theme. It has the color scheme that matches the rest of the keyboard. It looks and feels like an old computer cable that I remember having as a kid on the family computer. Maybe I'm a little too excited, but the fact that they have a cable that looks old is just really cool. I don't know why. And as a nice little throw in, it also includes some extra keycaps. You can stick with the stock color scheme inside the box, or you can swap out the enter key, space bar, and escape key with some of the different colored options that they offer you right in the box. I myself decided to go for the foresty green just because I can at least tolerate green. I didn't really like this orangish eggshell brown because I don't know, I just never looked at keycaps and thought this would be kind of cool if it was the same color as Advil. And for some reason, both Akko keyboards that I own include some keys that would be on the number pad, which makes no sense because there is no number pad, obviously. I guess they just threw those in there for giggles, because I don't get it. The Akko 3068 is available with Cherry MX Red, Brown, and Blue switches. I do like how the switches feel on this keyboard. I don't think I have any other boards that have Cherry MX Brown switches on them. I hear a lot of people joke around that Cherry MX Browns don't really feel tactile, but to me these feel pretty tactile. They're not the best feeling tactile switches. The Halo Trues in the drop enter, for example, feel better in my opinion. These are lighter with a lesser actuation force than Halo Trues, but they feel pretty good to type on, they feel solid, and on this keyboard there's a nice little crunch to them. They're not clicky, but they feel nice. They do feel fairly satisfying, though I do admit they could feel better and more tactile. Here's a quick sound test comparing the Cherry MX Browns on the 9009 Retro version versus the Cherry MX Reds on the other version that I have here. They're both the same board with the same kinds of keycaps, so this should give you a general idea of what each keyboard does sound like compared to each other without too many outside factors. The stabilizers could all use some work, with the exception of maybe the spacebar on this one. It's not amazing, but it is one of the better sounding stock spacebars on any of the keyboards I've tested on this channel, and in fact the spacebar on this one feels better than the one that came on the old Akko 3068 that I have with the Cherry MX Reds. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a consistency thing at the factory, but for some reason the spacebar just feels and sounds better on the retro model. Now there are Bluetooth versions of the Akko 3068 out there. This one is not the Bluetooth version. So that's the end of that segment. The keycaps included are some of my favorite stock keycaps on any keyboard that I own, and that goes for both models. They're OEM profile PBT dye sublimated keycaps. The retro model in particular has a very large font that is centered. As much as I like the font and the keycaps on my other 3068, there's just something about big, bold, centered fonts on a keyboard that just looks nice. It really lends to that retro look and feel as well. The keyboard itself is not backlit, there's no RGB here. There is one backlight under the caps lock key so that you can tell if caps lock is on or off. Aside from that, there are no LEDs on the board. It's a good thing that the keycaps included with this keyboard are so good. In fact, one of the reasons you might buy an Akko 3068 in any color scheme is because you like the keycaps included. The reason that's so good is because replacing them is not going to be super easy or super cheap. The right shift key is a 1.75U, which makes it a lot shorter than your typical shift key, meaning any budget-priced keycaps out there you might want to be looking at probably are not going to include a keycap that you can put on there. So if you want a right shift keycap in that size, you're going to have to spend a little bit more time, a little bit more energy and money finding a keycap set that is fully compatible. Because not only is that one different, but the right Alt, Control, and the function key are only 1 U in size, meaning that they're the same size of your typical letter key. So finding replacements that will be fully compatible is going to be tricky. And to make it just a little bit more difficult, the right side of the keyboard where you have your tilde, delete, page up, and page down, those are all sized to fit and make sense with the profile of the keyboard itself. So if you wanted to purchase a separate set and you put those keys there, they're going to have different row heights because on typical keyboards and keycap sets, the row height is different, at least for delete, page up, and page down. So this whole column might be a little weird and jagged like the neighbor kid who needs braces. It's something you're gonna have to deal with. There are no flip up feet on the Akko 3068, so the height that you get out of the box is the height that you have. It does have 4 rubberized feet at the bottom to protect it from sliding around or scratching on your desk, but as far as height goes, you're gonna be set with that height that is built into the keyboard. I myself think that it is a great height, but then again, I'm not the kind of person who would ever use legs because I don't tilt my keyboard up like that. So if you are somebody who really relies on a higher keyboard, you're going to want to look elsewhere. The Akko 3068 has no software whatsoever, which is perfect for me. You know me, I am very minimal when it comes to any kind of customization. I like a keyboard that you can use right out of the box and just get going. Now, of course, customization is nice though if you are looking for it. So while there's no software, there is actual hardware that you can use on the keyboard to create macros. I haven't done it myself. I don't really use macros. There's this whole kind of complicated process involving pressing several keys on the keyboard to program macros, and it's all in the manual that's included in the box. Not going to go over it because I don't really want to. I'm being honest here. I don't use macros. It's kind of complex. It's in the manual. Just know that if you're the kind of person who wants to rely on software, that is not going to be something you'll find here with the Akko 3068. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Akko 3068. Let's have a round of applause for the Akko 3068. Brilliant. Thank you. I feel like this keyboard does deserve that round of applause because it really is one of my favorite keyboards that you can just buy and put it on your desk and out of the box. It's great. There is no hot swap. This is a soldered keyboard, so if you do want to do any kind of lubing, it is going to either involve desoldering or using some kind of alternate method that does not involve desoldering. That's all up to you. But stock out of the box, while you could say different things about Cherry MX Reds, I think for the price of around $99, this is a great keyboard, and it's one of my favorite keyboards to this day. 65% is a great layout, and if you really want to save space on your desk, but you need those arrow keys, the 3068 is not going to let you down. Maybe you're not a fan of Cherry MX switches, maybe you want Gateron switches. Well, there is a new version coming, or I believe it's out now, I'm not really sure. but there is a Gateron version with some different kinds of Gateron switches, which I plan to be covering on this channel in the future. In the meantime though, if you want this retro version, check out the link in the description below. I believe it's going to be an affiliate link. Check it out. And check yourself out in the mirror. Give yourself a nice round of applause as well. Give yourself a nice point and a wink, and just tell yourself, I'm cool, I matter, and the Portly Gamer says that I'm handsome. That's right, the Portly Gamer said that, so you know it's good. If you like this video, you can watch this keyboard review right here, or you can watch this one right here, which is not a keyboard review, it's a different video about something else that I'll decide to put there just as I'm uploading the video last second. Thank you guys for watching.